Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Javier at Los Angeles Community. Is it Community College or City College?
City College.
City College, right. Sorry. I've done so many of these, and CC is always community college, but not in your case. This is Los Angeles City College. All right. Well, thanks for jumping on. I know you guys just kind of wrapped up the regular season, right?
Yes, last night was actually our last conference game. We move on to the conference tournament, which starts on Friday, the quarterfinals, and then semifinals and final are next week.
Okay, so we're sitting here talking early November. How much of your day at this point in the season is recruiting versus managing the current season?
Um, a good 25 to 30%, because I start getting emails, I start getting texts, I start getting calls from different players that are interested in joining us. And so I mean, some of them want to join um early in the spring. Some of them are still in high school. So ideally we want guys showing up, um, they're transferring or they're coming from a university or anything like that, coming in with us in February. So
Okay, well that makes sense. What where is it that you like to get your players from? Are there tournaments that you go to, or are you doing a lot of international work? What's that look like for you guys?
I'm all over the place. International is harder for us, mainly because we're in the heart of Hollywood. And so to get a player to come here, it's probably affordable in terms of tuition. We're only like $10,000. I mean, it's an out-of-state tuition, whether they're from out of the state or out of the country. But what's expensive is the living expenses. To live in Hollywood, you're looking at cheap rent about maybe $1,000 a month. That's if you're just getting a room.
Right.
And then not includes expenses like transportation, food, and whatnot. So that $10,000 tuition goes into maybe close to 20,000 in term 25,000 in terms of what you're going to spend coming to LA. And obviously we're a community college in California. We don't offer scholarships. So that becomes tough for any international player unless their goal is to be in LA. Maybe you mean I think it would be an investment for them, mainly because of the quality of soccer that we have here, the quality of life, and just the opportunities here in Los Angeles. Um, most of my players are from the area. Most of my players are from the community. They they either we know them from high school. I have assistant coaches who are at local high schools in LA and all over the southern area. I got a coach that's out in La Puente. I got a coach out about in Southgate, a coach in Downey. I mean, so I got coaches spread out that help me bring players that they see and players that they develop as well. Um, but the community itself is where we look for. Sometimes we'll go check out the local leagues on Sundays and and see if we can spot somebody that hasn't played and wants to get a college education. So
No, that's fantastic. Well, do you guys do ID camps, or do you and your staff work other ID camps? Are they part of your process at all?
yes, we do. We actually host free clinics for high school and adults that are interested in playing college. We can advise them and help them out. We can't in our setting, we can't really charge. So because we're hosting it. So it's always free. It's a free clinic just to train as a college athlete. And we tell a lot of them where their level stands and kind of their needs, what they have, what they might need. And we try to guide people that come to us, and where we can send them in order to develop and in order for us to be able to, guide them in this journey of playing college soccer, university soccer, and maybe even going pro.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, whether it's at one of these clinics or a high school game or anything else, kind of what makes up the hierarchy of things that you're looking for in a player, both on and off the field?
Athleticism is key. You know, we uh, the community college level in California is really, really demanding. We're coming off of playing. Uh, right now, we're at 21 games we have played since August, and it's demanding on the body. Uh, Guys got to be fit, and it's not just for the gameplay because obviously the speed of the game is faster than high school, faster than club. Um, it's just demanding in terms of, we're training 6 days a week. Your body has to last. And if you come in um a little overweight, not not up to par in terms of conditioning, because you've only been training twice a week, 3 times a week with club, or your high school doesn't really do any of this physical conditioning and other, you're not ready. You're not ready for it. And then you got to play against men, guys that are 21 years old. And they're strong. They're fit. They've been doing weight training, and they finally developed to be a college player. So it's we're looking for a player that's going to be able to withstand all that, because that's where a lot of players get hurt. They get beat up, and just they look scared sometimes because you grow up playing with just your age group. It doesn't compare when you show up and, hey, we have a 26-year-old in our team, you know, and 27-year-old, and or a guy that's 6'4", 6'3". It's so variable in terms of physicality and the demands that this game needs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, since you're a 2-year program, you've got to recruit twice as much as a 4-year program, and roster sizes can always be fluctuating.
Yeah.
What is the roster size that you find is ideal that you're trying to hit each year?
Right now, ideally, I want 33, three per position.
Okay.
33, it allows me to run practices with good rotations. It allows me, I mean, my goal is to have the rotations even in the game. Just again, we're coming up 21 games in like 10 weeks so far. And we already have injuries. We have guys out. We have circumstances that happen in life. You know, Somebody had their wisdom teeth taken out, and they're off for 3 weeks, almost a month now. Stuff like that. So then the bigger the numbers, the better. But for the most part, my number one number is 33.
Okay. Well, one of the big benefits, or for a lot of players, of going to junior college is then using that as a springboard to find somewhere else. Have you guys been fairly successful at getting the guys who want to continue to play at a 4-year university to help them get that chance?
Oh, of course. I think that's what we pride ourselves in here at LA City College, is that we have a good network of university coaches. We've sent out a really good high ratio of athletes out to the next level. We're above 50%. Guys get offers just because a lot of people know that California is I want to say the mecca of soccer in the US in terms of talent. Not only that, but you know if you look at our conference, is one of the strongest conferences in the nation. We usually have at least 4 teams that are ranked top 20 in the nation, and usually the state champion also comes from our conference. So it's there's a lot of eyes on us. um and it's just, we're a young program, 5 years in, and we've been working on just developing players and being able to produce university players. Right now we actually have 2 players on the coaching staffs of universities that they went to go play for. So Now I talk to them about being almost like a chain where, hey, somebody picked you up, now you got to come back and bring somebody up as well, and they will come and recruit back from us because they know our program and what we offer.
Okay. Well, let's learn a little bit more about the school. I'm sure some folks maybe not familiar, but LA City College, besides being in Hollywood, what are some awesome things about the school? Maybe some things we wouldn't even know by going through the website.
Well, being in Hollywood, we're very big on cinema. Um, you know, some big names that come to um there's that have been here. We've had many. Um, um, what else? We have a good kinesiology program. We offer a lot of certificates. I'm full-time professor here. I offer I offer a well, the school offers a coaching certificate. So if people want to follow up on coaching, whether it be soccer or any sport, we have a coaching certificate where you take several classes and you come out with a certificate in coaching, you know, uh, to prepare you for the coaching life. We have many degrees. We're part of the Los Angeles Community College District, which is very big. It's nine schools. Um, we are the oldest community college out there. We are actually the original campus of UCLA, the original campus of Cal State LA. So we've got a lot of history here in LA City College. Um, I mean, education wise, we rank pretty high.
No, it's fantastic. Well, speaking of education, kind of one of the challenges for players can be that transition, right, into a college life and balancing a sport. So, what support systems do you guys have in place there to make sure kids are successful both on and off the field?
One, we have both online and in-person courses. That's one. And because I know a lot of them, we have a lot of players that have to work. Um, we train in the afternoons, like around 4-ish, allowing players to be able to not only take classes early on or go to work. And that's a key part, especially because a lot of our players from our community, they got us you start supporting and helping financially in the family. And so I believe that it's a tough situation, tough circumstances, but when they're able to manage it, to go to work, go to school, and then on top of that they have soccer. I mean, it helps them move through it all, and to get their education more effectively and more engaging, right? We also have a tutoring center here where our athletes got to do at least 2 hours a week of tutoring in the center where we send them to. And besides that, my staff and myself, we all have college degrees. I'm actually a math professor as well at the college level. So, I mean, I'm able to help out in every aspect, whether it be even looking for classes. We have counselors specifically for our athletes. We get obviously priority enrollment. So we have a lot of benefits for our student athletes and stuff that helps them out.
That's great. Well, I know it's you had that last conference game. What would be a typical week for you guys in terms of winter practices, game cadence, meals, classes, all that stuff?
So the week starts on Sundays. We train Sunday morning, 6 a.m. We do it early in order for them, one, make sure that um we get them going because we have a game on Tuesday, and our games are Tuesdays and Fridays. And so we want them to have at least 2 training sessions before the game. On top of that, it's the weekend, so we want to avoid any, you know, laid backs. It takes a minute for the body to get moving again. Sometimes when you take a couple of days off. Um, Mondays we train again. We're prepping for the game on Tuesday. Um, Tuesday, either we're traveling or we're at home. I try to set up all home games to be only on Fridays so that we don't take them out of class on Tuesdays. Um, but this season, obviously during conference, we have to travel on Tuesday sometimes. So that becomes tough. Especially we have early games, you gotta leave at 11 a.m. So guys gotta miss class. So, we usually meet 3 hours before the game to do setups, uniforms, all that stuff. We athletes get fed and we get ready for the game 1 hour prior. And then Wednesday and Thursdays we're back to training, and then Friday's another game. And usually the day of rest is Saturday for them. I mean, like I said, it's so many games in so little weeks. It's important that we have the numbers to be able to rest players, to be able to rotate, to be able to have good solid practices as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the team. You mentioned, I mean, we mentioned the size of the roster. What about the coaching side of the roster? Who else is there helping you out? What role does everybody play there?
Um, my head assistant is Coach Felipe Bernal. He won a national championship with Cerritos College. And so he comes with vast experience. We're both assistant coaches at UCLA College. He's one of my main recruiters, especially because he's one of the coaches that wins a lot in the LA area. He wins CIF a lot. I mean, that's a high school um circuit, and so he's able to recruit a lot of players. He's more of my tactical expertise. Um, he usually we talk about formations and stuff like that with him. Then the second in command to him is Coach Andy Contreras. Coach Andy played at UC Riverside D1. He played pro at in the NISA League. He's also the head coach at Downey High School boys. So he's the offensive side of the team, and second in command to Coach Felipe. It's any great recruiter as well. Usually he brings in some of the top players because he usually trains and plays with them. Because he's still on the younger side. Um, the fourth assistant I have, or the third assistant, is my goalkeeper coach. He's actually my brother, Irvin Aguiniga. He's a head coach at Nogales High School. He played at Dominguez Hills. I coached him in high school and college. So, he knows exactly when he was my assistant at the high school level at 1.2. So he knows really good what I expect from all the athletes. He also is part of the recruiting process where he brings in players from his area. And obviously, coaching the goalkeepers is his role. And then we have volunteer coaches, depending on the year, and and depending on the staff that wants to join us in volunteering. Right now, we have two volunteer coaches, and they're there just help out and anything else we need.
Okay, great. Well, what about you? Talk to us about your coaching style and the style of play you look to play there.
A little bit about me. I coached high school for uh, 15 years or so. Um, I want to say I am a hybrid of soccer because you know I grew up in the 90s here in Southern California. I mean, coming from a Mexican background. I love the technical part of the game, but as I went up and I got experience, I was at UCLA, and I didn't play for the UCLA men's D1 team, but I was in the club team, and I did train with the men's D1 program. And I've been at programs such as Cal State Northridge as a coach manager. I was at University of Laverne, uh, Hope International University, and East LA College, Cerritos College, and Rio Hondo College. So I've been all over the place where I was able to mend everything together because the physicality part of the game has grown a lot. You know, um, athletes are more disciplined when it comes to the physical aspect. I mean, most of them can run a 2 minute mile. I mean, a 2 mile under 12 minutes. You know, back when I was in high school, that was probably unheard of. Or it wasn't really common. You know, but connecting that with the technical part, possession game, and it's just I want to say that's what my teams are. We can go from a more direct team to be able to change and become more possession. And but it all depends. I mean, I want to have a team that can change at any moment in order to, you know, give us the gains. And that's the way I try to coach.
Okay. Well, in terms of the spring, the non-traditional season, what do you
Mhm.
guys typically do during that time of year?
Um, Usually the guys are going to get a break until February after December gets here. December is when we kind of just give them a break, December and January. Come February, we start bringing them together in order to do some weight training, get a little bit stronger, uh, work on a little bit of speed, And then come March is when our non-traditional season really kicks off. We start training as a team again, and we train 2, 3 times a week. And then we have 4 non-traditional season dates. So we get to play 4 dates where we try to do at least 2 to 3 games that day in order to, see the new players that joined us in February. We see whether or not we're going to be able to keep these players, based off of these dates, whether they can keep up in the level. And then obviously, keeping the guys on task in terms of passing their units in order for them to be eligible for the next season.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Coach, I really appreciate your time. I'm going to leave you with one last question.
Mhm.
If you had one piece of advice for anybody going through this process right now, what would that be?
Hey, it's a journey. You don't rush it. I mean, I see a lot of players that are 17, 18 years old coming into the college level and they want to play D1, they want to play already, they want to play, and it's not like that anymore. Stop rushing to try to play the highest level. I know that everybody says, "Oh, if you're not playing pro," but I mean, I don't think that's the case anymore. I think if you know, education is the number one key you want to come out of your college soccer career is come out with your degree, even if it takes 6, 7, 8 years to obtain. But at least you had soccer. A lot of guys want to move on forward too fast and they're not ready. I think just look in the mirror and realize, hey, I'm not fast enough yet. I'm not, I don't got the stamina yet. I'm not strong enough yet. Then, it's a process. There's so many leagues now you can develop and still be going to school. Uh, or even redshirting on teams in order to be able to have a stronger opportunity because our opportunities are diminishing, especially now with the portal open, especially now with internationals coming into the college level, and now with roster cuts in the D1 levels, it's gonna drop, it's gonna trickle down. And players have to realize that there's other venues to be able to, you know, get to the highest level. My greatest example I talk about right now is Josh Allen, right? The guy played community college in California. He didn't have any D1 offers. He sent out emails after emails. And right now, one of the best players in the NFL, and that's because he believed in himself in the process. And it didn't matter what team he was in. He was working on himself. So for anybody coming up, that's what you got to realize. It's a journey, and not everybody's gonna have the same journey.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, I really appreciate the time. Wish you the best of luck here as you finish out the season, and hopefully you'll be hanging a banner here real soon.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.